Peace. Peace. I try to put the dry butts or the semi-dry butts in this container here, right? And that makes it easier. So here we go. Oh, there's a lot of butts. Huh? Look at this. Oh, I got some wet ones in there too. They'll dry out. That's the thing about it. When I pick wet butts, I'm very careful leaving black behind. Well, I don't put that black in. This is part of the way that I get rid of the black out of the butts. So I pull it across the table like this. And, oh yes, and I brought a couple of these small ones just to make fun of them. You don't want to add that to the tobacco. You'll see when I'm done with the tobacco, you're going to see how nice and beautiful the tobacco is. It's because of this, because I get rid of this stuff. There's no use in keeping it. I used to be lazy about this and just keep it. But I don't do that anymore. See how dirty the table is here? Like there's a lot of freaking butts here. I held this pouch. The zipper doesn't go the right way, so I held the pouch closed with a safety pin. And this is going on the porcelain plate. And it has to be done very gingerly, quite carefully. See? Because you don't want to be smushing the butts up. But you're going to be amazed at how many butts I have. This is from the short run. Look at this. You can see how huge that pile is. I don't know if you can see it from that other camera. I doubt it. But this is going to be nice because this is a couple of days with the tobacco here. What I do now with wet butts is I take the filter off every one of them, throw the filter away, and the remainder I put on the way too fast. And let it dry naturally. And I dried them with the filters on them, and they would take forever. So what happens is by the time the filters dry, the tobacco is really gross. So when you take the filters off, you can dry the tobacco, just the tobacco. You only need to create an environment for tobacco only instead of tobacco and filters, which is the way that I was doing it before. But I've learned these little tips for all you butt pickers out there and cigarette butt pickers. I'm going to start saying cigarette butt pickers from now on because the word butt, as Anthony told me, can mean many things. But it's, and butt, see I just said butt, that's B-U-T. The meaning of the word butt can also mean the butt of a man or a woman. So when I'm picking butts, I have to say picking cigarette butts as contrast to picking my butt. or a woman's butt or a man's butt. Anyway, that's it there. That should be it. Just a little bit more tobacco in the bottom. And it's basically garbage. And we were out. I think we were out a couple hours. It took a couple hours. The long run took me 3 hours. You remember I have a video on YouTube. The long run took me 3 hours and I had very little tobacco to show for it. So this is the short run. It took an hour and a half, tops 2 hours. We have a hell of a lot of butts here. Beautiful, beautiful butts. Some terrible problems with her hips and arthritis, and even she enjoyed it. We took our time, we took it easy. That's the way to do it. And it kind of becomes something we do together. And Tara points to something because she has a sciatic nerve. I say, please don't pick anything up, let me pick it up. So it's hard for her to do that. She's not used to having someone who wants to do the heavy lifting, so to speak. Not that a butt's heavy lifting, but when you're as old as we are, reaching down for a butt is heavy lifting. So here I am cleaning this. It's just going well. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking the filters off and putting down the tobacco. Now I'm just going to let the recorder run, and I will be cutting a lot of it out when I edit the movie for YouTube. I like to keep my YouTube movies around 2 or 3 minutes. And it usually takes me about an hour to do what I'm doing, so obviously I'll be cutting a lot out. Oh, I can hear the people from upstairs. They had a party last night, Saturday night. 4 o'clock in the morning, Tara said she heard them. 4 o'clock in the morning playing loud music. These are the people we're sure called the cops on us one time when Tara and I were having an argument. They called the cops. And we didn't call the cops on them. I didn't bang on the roof or the ceiling. The thing is that I'm trying to keep a low profile with stuff like that because, you know, life is too short. It's just too short. And I don't trust the police. I just, you know, it's just the way it is. I don't trust the police. Anyway, there's lots of reasons why the urban poor wouldn't trust the police. In any event, I have my reasons, and Tara has her reasons, and we have decided together that we don't want to have the police involved in our lives at all. So neither one of us yells and screams and gives anyone a reason to call the police, because we don't want the cops here, you know. Anyway, look at the size of that. Can you see it? There you go. That's a nice size. Wet? It's a nice size. Look at that. When that dries out, that's going to be beautiful tobacco. And Tara, were you happy with the way I was picking up the butts? Yeah, you're sure that I didn't pick up any crap like sitting in dog shit and stuff like that?
Sure.
Yeah, because we saw a lot of dog shit. And it's like the people in Montreal forget to pick up their dog shit in the wintertime. And when the snow goes away, and what are you left with? Dog shit. It's pretty disgusting. Now, if I was going to do this perfectly, I would put this in a strainer under which I would boil water, and I would steam it to kill anything within the tobacco. But I'm not going to do that. I will someday get one, but it takes a metal, what do they call them? A metal strainer, and a colander, and all we have is a plastic one. I guess I could use a plastic one, but yeah, I'd make a mess of it. But if we did that, then we'd know for sure that we've cleaned up the tobacco. All we can do now is take what is obvious, like you see the end of that. See it? It's obvious. So I just take it off with my fingers, drop it in the garbage. And when I'm cleaning them, I'm moving them from side to side. The black stuff is much smaller than the tobacco, so it's actually left behind. I move tobacco from one side of the table to the other, or one side of the plate to the other. The black stuff's left behind, and I throw it in the garbage. That's the way to keep it clean. Picking wet butts, and I knew it was going to be wet because it rained. Picking wet butts is a little different than picking dry butts. Dry butts, you don't have to go through this extra step that I'm going through right now. I'm taking the filter off them because if you leave the filter on them when you're trying to dry them out, you got to dry the filter out to get the tobacco dried out. So the filter's got to dry out first, and then when it gets drier, the tobacco starts to dry out, and it increases the length of time that you're drying your tobacco out. So of course, what happens is that the tobacco dries out much more than you'd normally want it, and you end up with tobacco that is basically if you touch it or try to roll it, it turns into dust.